Hi guys, here's your teacher Raul. Here are the videos that I promised you for the practice of the topics that you're going to see on Wednesday tests, right? This is going to be the practice for the first topic and the first exercise. We have done this exercise several times in the classroom, right? Now, with this exercise, I'm going to do three. It's going to be three videos of around 3 to 4 minutes, depending how long I take to explain, right? Those three exercises are going to be the cases that I'm going to show you and I'm going to put you through to the test. If you're able to understand those three exercises that I'm going to do, you're going to do just fine on the test, okay? So, let's begin with the first one. Before I begin, there is music in the sound basically of the phone because I am at home, right? I'm in a casual setting. Here is just wearing casual clothes. I don't have my uniform. And there's a birthday party of my neighbors. So if you hear music, I excuse the situation, but it's something that I can't control. Like I'm at home. So let's begin. Okay, guys. First, two things that I want to remember you about the topic that you gotta learn basically, and it's going to help you with equations and this topic right here. Those two things. First, if you have a number and a letter right together, and they don't have an operator between them, it's always a multiplication in this case. And the same happens if you have two letters in this case. A and B means A multiplied by B. That is what happens. For example, here, A and a T, right? They are doing a multiplication. In this case, this A and T is basically doing this. A multiplied by T. Even if we want to write the whole operation with every operator, how it should be, like precise, would be something like this. UB equals U plus A multiplied by T. But in maths, we just omit the operator when we have two letters. That is something that you gotta understand to know. What is happening between these two letters? Multiplication. Do you have the code, basically the cheat code, right? The notation. So, that's the first rule to remember for the topic. Second rule to remember, guys. Contrary operations. If we're going to pass something to the other side in an equation, we have to see what is the operator. If it is summing, in the case, for example, of this U, is going to be a subtraction. If it is multiplying, in the case of this AT, as I mentioned before, it's going to go to a division to the other side. Okay? Now, with these two rules, we are able to solve this exercise. I'm going to solve it. You're going to see how it is solved and analyze why it is, taking into account these two rules. Okay? Now, let's begin. Let's analyze. What are the letters that we have to move around, that we have to pass to the other side? I'm going to mark them. It's going to be the A and the U. The letter that we want to leave alone is the T in this case. Why? At the end, the answer that we want is to have the T on one side equals the rest of the elements. We want this at the end. T equals something. Now, that something is what we're going to get, okay? We're going to leave the T actually down here. We're going to reach that answer at the end. Yeah, T right here. Equals something. We're going to do the steps to get to this final answer. So, the first thing that we're going to move is going to be the U. Why? Because the U is alone and is summing. If you have, for example, a multiplication, but you have something that is alone, like a U, you first do this operator right here, this letter right here, because it's alone, right? So, we move it around to the other side of the equal with the UB. And the U, first of all, is summing, right? So it's going to go to the other side to summing, going to go to the other side to subtract this case. Let's write it out. Let's write it. So going to write the UV, right, equals a little bit more space, equals, right, equals A and the T in this case. And then I'm going to write the U like this. Now, the U was summing, right? Was doing a sum. So it will go to a subtraction in this case. It's going to go to a subtraction. After this, we have completed the first step, moving the U to the other side right here. Now, some of you in the class write things differently. For example, you write it like this. Another way to write this, the U going to the other side, would be something like this. For example, minus U plus UV, for example. This is correct too. This is good. For example, I know Silene write it like this. This is perfectly correct. You can write it like this, or you can write it as I did. UV minus U. Both are good, okay? Now, let's continue. Now, what we need to pass around? The A, right here. So, we're going to see what is the operation that the A is doing. We have a letter and a letter. It's a multiplication, so we are multiplying. If they are multiplying, what do we have? We have to do a division in this case. There's something that I want to tell you that is also going to happen in the other exercises. When you have a multiplication in this case, and you're going to divide, pass the A to do a division in this case, because here is multiplying, it's going to divide everything that we have at the other side. So the way to write it, and will be the final step for the answer, will be this. I'm going to pass the A to the other side. UV, right, minus U. That minus looks weird. UV minus U, right, and the A that is multiplying is going to divide and divide everything that we have. And this would be the answer of the first exercise. It would be the answer, la respuesta. Ok, guys, vamos a repetir, vamos a repasar este ejercicio. Voy a decir las cosas que tal vez a algunos les quedó tan claro. Primero pasamos la U, estaba sumando, ¿cierto? Pasó a restar. Estaba U igual a U más a T, ahora va a ser V menos U en este caso. Claro, estaba sumando, paso a restar. Perfecto. Ahora, la A, que es lo que nos queda para que quede la T sola. La A está multiplicando porque está junto letra con letra. Si hay una letra, hay otra letra, está multiplicando. Entonces, como está multiplicando, va a pasar a dividir. Esto es lo que hay que, digamos, aprender en este caso. Si estamos pasando, por ejemplo, esta multiplicación va a pasar a dividir, ¿cierto? Esa letra o esa división va a dividir a todo lo que haya de este lado. Por eso, la A está dividiendo a ambos valores aquí. B menos U sobre A. En el siguiente ejemplo va a pasar lo contrario, algo que va a estar dividiendo va a pasar a multiplicar y a multiplicar a todo lo que haya de este lado. Entonces van a ver cómo funciona. ¿Okay? Este sería el primer forma de resolver este tipo de ecuaciones, este tipo de problemas. Ya cuando terminemos, miren que ya no tenemos más letras que mover, ya movimos la U, ya movimos la A, nos queda la T sola. Y esta es la respuesta del ejercicio. Este sería nuestro primer ejercicio como tal.